Welcome to Fourth Ward Community News and Concerns Community Spotlight webcast. We have a special guest today, Laura Grafe's Bike Drive. They're celebrating their 10th anniversary, so we'd like to congratulate you guys.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Thanks for coming on our show today.
Absolutely.
My wife and I, we bought a house in Middletown. We fell in love with the old Victorians that are in the community, and you know the houses are what drew us to the area. But then once we purchased the house, we fell in love with the community. And the Middletown, you know, besides having great homes and great neighborhoods, is full of amazing people. And so that's what we're trying to do here today, is spotlight some of the great people that work in and around the community to help make Middletown a better place.
Basically, we retrieve, repair, and recycle bikes for kids, 16 and under. Basically, they get a bike if they don't have a bike. If they have a bike that's too small or broken, what we do is have them trade it in, and that'll help the next child. Okay, and then what we do is we size them. We have the child come. We size them for the bike, and then we just take a picture of them. We put them on our Facebook, and that's basically a thank you to the people who are purchasing the bike, donating the bike, or working on the bike.
And this is your 10th anniversary?
Yes, yeah, we've been doing it for 10 years. We've been doing it since 2006. And we started off, we had a big group of volunteers of kids, and basically my son was 2 at the time, and we didn't have any bikes. And we had, you know, basically cleanup time. And my husband drove up and got a bunch of bikes. We had about 20 bikes in the yard. We had a couple of teenage kids walk up and say, hey, what are you doing with the bikes? My husband said, we're fixing them up. And so they kind of put their head down and walked away. And I came out and I said, what's going on here? And he said, I don't know, they want the bikes, but they're broken, they're in pieces. And I said, well, honey, we have 20, we don't really need 20. So we fixed about 12 out of the 20. And I remember the first 3 kids that came down the street. They were with their uncle. They lived in that maroon house over there. And I yelled, hey, do you need a bike? And the uncle said, oh, they're not free. And I said, yeah, they are. And he goes, oh, I'm new to the neighborhood. I didn't know. And the kids came over, and their faces lit up, and it was like an addiction after that.
Oh, wow.
You know, the kids would rip down the street, and they'd say, hey, Miss Laura. You know, they'd wave to me, and I knew I saved that bike, and I recycled that bike, and I gave that bike, you know, basically a new life. Wow. You know, they're able to have a good time with it and basically get a lot of you know, exercise from it.
That's very nice, because our community's kind of, our society's become a throwaway society.
Absolutely.
So now you can repurpose and reuse it. That's great.
Yeah.
Have you inspired other people to do similar things in other areas? Or?
Absolutely. You know, when I first started doing this, I heard about Saturn dealership doing it one season, and I heard Middletown Police did it. But since I've been doing this, I've heard of a lot of people that have, you know, been gathering bikes up and been recycling and giving back to the community, which I love.
Oh, wow.
You know, very inspiring.
So I'd also like to say, what brought you to Middletown? Were you born here? Did you meet your husband here? How did you get here?
I'm actually from across the river.
Oh, okay.
I grew up in Poughkeepsie, and I went to school in Arlington. And I met my husband. He lived over in Walden, Wallkill.
Right.
So we kind of found like a mutual area where we could kind of, you know, get married and have a house. And you know,
in the middle?
Yeah, somewhere in the middle. We've been here since July of '98.
Oh, wow.
And so we've been here for quite a long time, and I enjoy Middletown. Middletown's a beautiful area. You know, I love the train, you know, and I love the community, you know. Well, kind of what inspired me was my husband and I are scrappers, and what that means is, you know, if there's metal on the side of the road, you know, we basically pick it up and we recycle the metal, okay? And that's kind of how we started. You know, we saw a 12-inch bike on the side of the road, drove up a little further, and we saw another 12-inch. My husband turned to me and said, hey, you know, you put 2 bikes together, you got one good bike. So that's kind of what inspired me a little bit. You know, and then when those children came up and asked us for the bikes it kind of was like I kind of thought of a new way to kind of repurpose and use them.
Oh, wow.
You know, so after the bikes were gone, after recycling time, I was like, you know, how am I going to get more bikes? You know, your recycling time is only twice a year. So I said, hey, police departments, you know, police departments must have stolen bikes and found bikes that they may not be able to give back to the customers, you know, which I found out. I deal with 24 different police departments now and a couple of colleges. And what I found is a lot of people get bikes that are stolen, they never go back to the police department to find them. So these are bikes that are just going to be thrown in the dumpster, basically, you know. And so I basically get them from the police department and I repurpose them.
And you give them a new life?
Yes, give them a new life, yep. I sell the adult ones to make up for our expenses, and I give the kids away for free.
Great.
The moment I'm proud of,
Or something you're most proud of?
when my kids look up to me and tell me that they want to take up for what I'm doing, You know, I'd like to do something where I would like to have an indoor stadium where kids and adults could ride all year round. And still do the recycling effort. You know, maybe make it like a BOCES thing where, you know, kids and adults could both learn how to ride bikes, work on bikes, maintain bikes, you know, motorcycles, scooters, motor assists, and basically, you know, learn how to fix them, basically. And then have,
away, right?
yeah, and then still sell bikes and maybe sell new bikes and have, you know, different racing times. You know, like Lance Armstrong can come and, you know, do the top one and he could go really, really fast, or he could go, you know, the kids could go smaller and go slower time in different levels of the building. You know, and then maybe outside have a motorcycle track, you know, and in the middle have like a skateboard area where kids and adults could also go do skateboarding and do tricks and different things like that with their bikes, you know.
Yeah,
That's
Orange County Fair area might be a good place for that.
Absolutely, yeah. He just did a motorcycle track
Yeah, I saw
recently,
that.
I think. Yeah.
How does owning a bike benefit a child? How do you feel?
I'd say exercise.
Video games are out. Doing
Absolutely.
something productive, exercising.
Yes, getting out in nature and just, you know, getting to your friend's house and not just sitting down playing video games. And
Are you looking forward to the Heritage Trail coming through?
Absolutely, absolutely. I don't think there's enough good sidewalks around. You know, there's a law right now that says 16 and under have to travel on the sidewalk and 16 and over have to travel on the road. And I think a lot of times there's no sidewalks.
Right.
So where does the child go?
Or
You know?
uneven, right?
Yes, or it's uneven or a bad sidewalk and it's got holes and, you know, so I think they need to do some improvement here in Middletown and I'm hoping they'll do that. I heard recently they got some money and I'm hoping they'll do some more stuff with the sidewalks and stuff around here and the
More
trails.
different walk and exercise.
Absolutely,
jog, ride
yeah, I think that's so important.
your bike. So how do you fund your bike drive? You mentioned
I sell adult bikes.
Oh, okay.
I don't feel the need to ask people for money for what I'm doing. You know, this is my business, and I basically want to make sure that it's paid for, you know, by selling bikes. That's what we're doing. We're recycling. So I sell bikes, and I'm able to pay for expenses like gas to go get more bikes, lube, spray paint, gear cable, you know, sometimes brakes. You know, we try to recycle everything we have, but with gear cable, it gets rusty, it gets old, so you kind of have to put new in, you know.
And so where do you, is it on Craigslist or how do you?
I
where
sell
can you
through
buy bikes?
Craigslist
Oh, okay.
and occasionally just word of mouth, you know, like if people are donating and we find out that we have a bike for sale and because I give the tokens, you know, they realize, hey, I can get a bike for a discount if I give a bike away. You know, and a lot of times scrap prices are really low right now and you may get $1 for a bike, but I offer $3 per kid's bike, 24-inch and below, and $5 per adult bike, 26-inch and above. So I grab on the scrappers as well, you know, so instead of the scrappers going to the scrapyard and selling their bikes there and getting $1 for them, they're going to come to me instead, hopefully.
Hopefully more people can donate bikes.
Yes, absolutely. I'd much rather have a free bike than have to spend money on it, absolutely, because that would give me more of an opportunity to get more for kids.
So
I take batteries, cords, Christmas lights, printer cartridges, and cell phones, and what we do is we wrap that back into the program.
Okay.
Printer cartridges, I get $2 a piece at Staples, and I get a $20 check like 6 weeks later. So I'm able to buy like a printer cartridge every month. You know, to get a $20 savings, usually a printer cartridge is about $35, so I save 20 bucks. That helps me out. I'm able to print out flyers and that kind of thing.
so you can donate the stuff you might throw away.
Yes, absolutely. These are old printer cartridges, old cell phones, you know, old metal, you know, batteries. You know, batteries, I'm talking like car batteries and scooter batteries and motorcycle batteries and stuff. I'd say the people. You know, the people are very warm and very giving, and they've been very open to, you know, just helping us out. And, you know, we have a lot of people that, you know, we used to have a lot of volunteers when we first started this. I had about 30 kids that used to sit in my driveway and work on the bikes. And I really love that. I'd love to bring that back, but unfortunately it's a big safety risk for me. You know, I had one kid spray one kid in the face with spray paint, or I mean lube, and I had to wash his eyes out, and I thought, oh my God, his parents are going to sue me. You know, and then I had another kid taking a screwdriver out, and he was going like this to take the tube out. Well, what do you think would happen if he slipped?
Yeah.
You know?
We do live in a litigious society. Everybody's suing.
Yeah, so unfortunately I had to make this a business so I wouldn't get sued. God forbid my family would get sued. You know, I had to make this a business to make sure that wouldn't happen. Yeah, but since I've been a business, everybody thinks I'm making money at this, which is kind of a weird thing. You know, it's like I'm not making any money, putting it all back into the business.
Middletown, I'd like to thank you for everything that you do to serve, make Middletown a better place to live.